Today's video is brought to you by the new Red Magic 5S smartphone. The Red Magic 5S is the greatest phone for anyone looking to play games on the go. It's basically everything you'd want to enhance gameplay that's not available on a typical phone, including shoulder triggers, just like you'd expect on a controller, and believe this or not, a fan within the device to help keep the phone cool even if you're plugged in and playing a really intensive game. The Red Magic 5S also has what some have called the fastest phone display with a 144Hz refresh rate, which sadly is actually better than my computer monitors, and comes with 12GB of RAM, 250GB of storage, a powerful Snapdragon processor, a 4500 mAh battery with quick charge, and software designed specifically for performance optimization. So if you guys are interested in the Red Magic, check out the link I've included down in the description, and also let me know what you think in the comments. With that being said, roll the intro. Hey guys, this is EckhartsLadder. Hello and welcome to another Star Wars video. Now, today's content does have some pretty major spoilers from Star Wars Squadrons. We'll be discussing some serious details from the campaign, so if you're looking to go in completely free of spoilers, well, I recommend you avoid this video. I'm going to try not to spoil anything I don't have to, but in this case, I won't be able to avoid everything. I'll give you guys a second, come back later once you've played through the game, and if you don't want to play through, in the next couple of days I will most likely be starting a Star Wars Squadrons VR playthrough on my second channel, X2, and additionally we've been streaming the game almost every night. It is so much fun. With that being said, let's talk the Starhawk. The Starhawk was the New Republic's greatest capital ship, at least that we know of so far. It was essentially a Frankenstein vessel, created out of the husks of dead Star Destroyers, reassembled at the Nadiri shipyard, and more powerful than anything short of a Super Star Destroyer, although, as we saw at the Battle of Jakku, a well-placed Starhawk could even take down that gigantic vessel. The Starhawk was 2.4 kilometers long. It was armed with a state-of-the-art tractor beam, which we see in action, visually at least for the first time in Star Wars Squadrons, as well as most likely a bevy of other weapons. So what new do we learn about the Starhawk from Squadrons? Well, quite a bit. The most surprising thing to me is that despite what we thought from the Aftermath trilogy, the first Starhawk to see action was not actually Krista Agate's Concorde. The New Republic actually had a sort of precursor to that ship, the Starhawk Prototype, which is the main star of the game. The prototype is actually visually distinct as well, so some people made this connection before the game released. You can see especially that the tractor beam emitter is a little bit different, and the game details the New Republic's efforts to protect the Starhawk as the Empire is hunting it down. We're moving into very heavy spoiler territory, but I was actually really surprised to discover that the Empire is successful in destroying the first Starhawk. They launch an open attack on the Nadiri shipyards after having feints at Mon Calamari and other planets to draw local forces away. Then they attack the Starhawk with Baradium missiles, which are largely effective. The Starhawk is forced to flee the Nadiri shipyard alongside an escort fleet, which is then hunted down by the Empire. The Starhawk manages to survive for some time. It takes a substantial amount of damage, but is critically injured by the player character from Titan Squadron, who flies inside the ship, damages precious equipment related to the tractor beam array, then escapes. The New Republic, however, makes the best of the Starhawk. They fly it into a moon, destroying the moon and causing a shockwave which destroyed a large Imperial fleet. But that's not the only action the Starhawk sees within the game. As I mentioned, the vaunted tractor beam itself sees some action and manages to nearly disassemble an Imperial Star Destroyer after less than a minute of use. It's really impressive. That came after the New Republic purposefully tricked Titan Squadron and its flagship, the Overseer, into a confrontation where the Starhawk made its first major appearance in combat. Although it seems like this Starhawk may not have had the full weapon set as later versions. Either that, or the vessel itself cannot use weapons alongside its tractor beam, which, due to the immense amount of power being used, certainly is possible. I gotta say, I personally did question the effectiveness and the design philosophy that led to building an entire ship ship around a tractor beam of all things, but with seeing this, it makes sense. The first Starhawk's legacy, however, would not be one of war, it would be one of research. Although the ship would die, destroying an Imperial fleet, it more importantly blazed the trail for future Starhawks, including the 3 that participated at the Battle of Jakku, and any number of others which could have been produced by the New Republic. The Starhawk itself allowed engineers and other research personnel to evacuate from Nadiri as it was being attacked, and thankfully, the Empire never returned en masse to destroy the station. There's more we learn though. First of all, the Starhawk is heavily secretive even within the New Republic. There are only a few people within the military that know of its existence, including General Syndulla, and probably Wedge Antilles to some degree, but it wasn't common knowledge, and I think part of the reason why is because the Starhawk almost seems like something Imperial. It's a massive state-of-the-art battleship. The characters compare it almost to a super weapon, and it's understandable. It's also a little disconcerting to see the Rebel Alliance that long sought to overthrow a militant dictatorship now building massive warship, but I guess that's what's necessary in war. I guess the other thing I'd say we learn is just how much work goes into the prototype Starhawk. First of all, the New Republic, with a squadron led by Wedge Antilles, specifically go to disable and capture an Imperial Star Destroyer, which they bring to Nadiri, and this is no small feat. I guess I assume that the New Republic got a lot of Star Destroyers from defecting Imperials or surrenders during battle, and while that does seem to be somewhat the case, it seems like many of the Star Destroyers brought to Nadiri are in worse shape than I would have expected, which is kind of good because it does help justify the Starhawk's existence. I mean, in most cases, if you have a workable Imperial Star Destroyer, you're probably best off just using that, but if the ship is going to be scrapped anyway, well, you might as well throw it into this massive new battleship. However, a single Starhawk does seem to take a lot of Star Destroyers. There's an entire debris field near the worksite, just filled with the remnants of ships. We see several Star Destroyers in various states of disrepair at Nadiri when the Starhawk is introduced. It's not clear exactly how many of these were going into the prototype and how many into subsequent Starhawks, but this was a very high value project. This was not standard shipbuilding procedure, and personally I just have to wonder whether the Starhawk really justified its extremely high price. One final very small detail I noticed is that, almost like the UNSC Infinity, the Starhawk can actually carry smaller ships on its rear superstructure. We see a couple of CR-90s parked there. There seems to be room for more ships, and I mean, this is really a monstrous vessel. I'm not sure why you'd want the ships flying on the Starhawk rather than alongside of it. Maybe in weird Star Wars physics terms it saves on fuel or something, but I don't know. It's cool, and I do like it. But guys, that's all I have for today's video. I want to do another playthrough of Star Wars Squadrons where I pay a bit more attention to all of the lore details within the game. Basically, between each mission, you're in this hub where you can talk to NPCs, and because I had to play the game before launch so I could do a full review, I skipped a lot of that, and maybe there's more details about the Starhawk in there. I know there's some references to the 181st, which is cool. Soon Tyrfel will hopefully be canon again. But guys, that's all for today. Until next time, be safe, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.